Hello, everybody. What do you do when you have insomnia? You listen to cool music, and let's get rid of that because we don't need to go into that, do we? No. Okay. It's Big Daddy. We're going to remove that video. That was pretty cool. Free music from YouTube. Thank you, YouTube, for free music. That was jamming. Where the hell did I go? Hi. Let's fix this on the screen. Let's get that shit fixed. This is Big Daddy. Let me fix my camera. And this is something that I wanted to do for a while, talking about poker for all my poker playing friends around the country and locally. If you didn't ever notice my tattoo on my arm. Oh, wrong arm. That arm. Everything's backwards. Shit. As you can see, I'm kind of a poker fan. I've been a poker fan for quite some time. So if you're not into poker, you might want to pass on this show. If you think you are interested in starting to play poker, you might want to stick around. Right above me is Jerry Yang. This is back when the Trump Taj Mahal was still alive and kicking. That was my haunt on the East Coast, along with the Borgata, Tropicana, Resorts International, and any other place that offered poker in Atlantic City. But here's a picture of me actually getting one of my shirts signed. What a humble man. What a great guy. A religious man and a friend of mine, Jerry Yang, World Series of Poker champion, who came out to play with Poker Joe and Fritz and countless others in Atlantic City. He does a lot of good benevolent acts. Like I said, very humble. One time he passed me on a slot machine that I was down $1,400 at, and I'm never down $1,400 on a slot machine. It was just a bad night. I think I had too many Crown Royals. And he tapped me on the shoulder and he said, "Tom, slot machines are bad." I was like, "Jerry, where were you a couple hours ago?" But I wanted to play Pawn Stars, and I wanted to see what the special feature was. And that special feature did not come up once. So thank you, Pawn Star Slot Machine at the Taj Mahal, you bastard. All right, so I just want to show you some pictures. We're going to talk about some history. This is really bothering me, these cameras. Let me get rid of this guy over here. supporting the American flag. If you're watching and you're in the armed services, thank you very much. You know that the Big Daddy Roadshow supports all of you guys and gals out there serving this great country and supporting Old Glory. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Merchant Marines, Coast Guard, we salute you. And this, again, is a show where I'm going to talk about poker, where it all started for me, how it got crazy, things that happened even before I was, even when I was a wee little child, And I want to thank Terry King from Real Grinders. And we're going to talk about Real Grinders. As a matter of fact, I got some mail that almost didn't make it. Still want to know what the F is all about on here. Thank you, Terry, for this. I'm going to open it up. Actually, you know what? I should probably open it up right now because, again, if you're not into poker, you're probably not going to want to stick around for this. But if you dig poker, especially if you're one of my local guys that played in one of my backroom games or the big backroom game, which, by the way, happened a long time ago. Statute of limitations is all over on that. But wow. Look at all these. Can you see this? This almost ripped, by the way. I showed a picture on Real Grinders group page. Check this out. Are you kidding me? Ooh, I guess I'm in the Real Grinders club now. Real Grinders Poker is filled with poker professionals. I'm eventually going to go in detail about. So this is a big shout out to Real Grinders. Raymond Davis and the gang. Look at this. You can iron these on, apparently, or I would probably sew them on. Whoa, we got one for Irish Green, for our Big Daddy. How about that? If you're looking to hang around and play better poker, I'm going to recommend, geez, they give me just about every color you can get. Terry, thank you very much. That's really cool of you. We're going to tell some stories, old-time stories. I dropped one, and I got to pick it up. Thank goodness it fell face up. Look how nice that one is. Guys, thank you. I'm East Coast. But I've been to Vegas over 50 times. I'm blessed. I had a bad run-in with a bad accident with my back. Also got bit by a spider, that little son of a bitch. And it kind of sidelined me in the poker world. But like I said, I've done it all, played with them all. To all the thousands and thousands of poker players that's played Big Daddy, even a few of you that beat me badly, I salute you. If you're new to poker, it never used to be this big. I got into it. Let me tell you why I got into it. I don't know. My father was a gambler. He played blackjack. He used to go to Atlantic City. On the first day of resorts opening in Atlantic City, he was lined up. He was lined up at the door. And God love him, he served in Korea. And he's a real big reason. Excuse me, I can't speak. He's a real big reason as to why I support the flag, why I joined the Elks, because the Elks Lodges support God and country, support Old Glory. But I got turned on to it, I guess, with guys like Amarillo Slim, who was on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, guys like Johnny Moss, Benny Binion, of course, The Horseshoe, Doyle Brunson, Pugsy Pearson, Oklahoma Johnny Hale. I should have notes on these. Stewie Unger, Dan Harrington, and then, of course, the new young guns came in like Phil Hellmuth, the Brat, who I think is up to like 17 World Series of Poker bracelets. And I could still remember him at the Taj Mahal when he was one of the first guys to start going crazy with the media. And he'd be in a tuxedo wearing jeans and sneakers. And I would be like, hey, Phil, what's going on? He was cool, but that was long before all his bracelets. What a great player. Stewie Unger, Chip Reese, guys like that we're going to talk about tonight for you people new to poker. Also, Johnny Effin Chan, who, I jokingly say, is famous from a movie called Rounders. And we're going to show some clips of that, too. So, yeah, I put a little effort into this, and I probably could have put more. But you know what? It became very clear to me that I'm never going to know all the new young guns. I'm just getting too old. I know what brought me into poker, and I just wanted to do a live. It was actually inspired by Terry King and Real Grinders. I've been watching this group, and it's an amazing group online. of poker professionals and poker wannabes and poker climbers, ones that are climbing the ranks. And I've been playing poker since I think it was 1990 something. I'll tell you, I used to be a craps player. It was all about craps with me. I bought every book on craps, learned how to play the pass line, full odds. I avoided playing the field. I'd load the bases. We'd get it all set up. We'd stack chips to the ceiling. And then, of course, you'd 7 out. I played that game so hard I got bored. And then one time in Las Vegas, I was in a little place called Puffless Pete's. I think it was a farming casino for the Circus brand casino in Las Vegas on the Strip. And there was 1 or 2 poker tables as you walked in the door. Puffless Pete's was one of the first casinos to go non-smoking. And I'll never forget a really cool man who taught me my first game of Texas Hold'em in a free game. They gave you free chips for playing just a mock game. And then after the game, he asked everybody, would you like to play? And I played. And that was it. My life was over. It was poker from there on out. But I remembered Slim and everybody and hearing names like Doyle Brunson. And, of course, now his son, Todd Brunson, who is ironically my friend, along with guys like Dusty Schmidt, who's one of the all-time earners, online poker players, another friend of mine. I have countless poker pro friends, but I really don't pester them too much. Tom McAvoy, like I said, Oklahoma Johnny Hale, one of my favorites. I'm not friends with Phil Hellmuth. I am friends with Michael Mizrachi, who's one of my all-time favorites. But here, let's just get to some pictures, and then I'm going to show some videos. This might take a little time. So again, if you're not into poker, this show's probably not for you. But if you are, stick around. You're going to see a lot of really cool pictures. Here's one of the first ones. Let me see if my software is working. Now, Stewie Younger, who I believe I was talking to Terry. Stewie Younger's family members are members of Real Grinders, which is really kind of cool. Stewie Younger is probably one of the most famous names in poker. Here's a cool picture. And that's young Binion with Stewie. And seriously, by the time Stewie comes along, I'm really getting into poker. However, I'm a cash player. I'm not into tournaments, ever. I was just never into them. Let me get my chair moved. And I didn't really start playing tournaments until after, let's figure this out. How did it work out? The World Series of Poker started a long time ago with a bunch of old timers. Like I mentioned, guys like Johnny Moss and Pugsy Pearson and Amarillo Slim and all those guys. And then it just progressively got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I can actually remember, I don't know if this is the picture from the game that was held outside on Fremont Street. I can still remember it being windy. And I was there railing, and it was just be an amazement to watch Stewie play. What a brilliant player. Just, it's a shame that he passed away. There are movies on the man. There are books on the man. I highly recommend you look them up. As a matter of fact, after the show, I will put links to anything Stewie, because Stewie Younger is definitely one of the legends that sadly we lost. Another legend, Chip Reese. Speaking of legends, is this Johnny Moss here? I think that might be Johnny Moss. Correct me if I'm wrong. Here's some of my favorites. These are the guys that got me in to poker, and I can't be alone. There's no way I can be alone in all this. But I'm going to show you all kinds of pictures that Terry King shared with me. If you guys want to see some of the best photography of Las Vegas in general, the history of Las Vegas, the history of poker in Las Vegas, I recommend you become a member or join the group fan page on Facebook for Real Grinders. Okay? And I have links, and I'm going to put them up on the screen. The goals of this show are to talk about poker, to talk about the people who constantly ask me to teach them how to play poker. I'm happy to teach people the basics of poker, and I actually have a really cool graphic that I used to hang in my back room poker game. It's called the Rank of Poker Hands. So here you go. Without wild cards, because wild card games are for degenerates. Actually, poker's for degenerates, but wild card games are for those guys who lack the skills, but want to try and get their money back at the end of the night. So they'll say, hey, can we play some wild card games like Follow the Queen and whatnot? No, we can't. Let's stick it to real poker. I'm a limit poker player. I used to love to play high stakes, not high stakes. I'm never going to play in the leagues like these big guys, but higher money limit games was my favorite. But here you go. Here's, if you're new to poker, the rank of poker hands without wild cards right there. Let me see if I can get my hands up there. All right. And of course, the big one is the royal flush. Okay. And wrong hand. This one right there, that would be a royal. All spades, ace, king, queen, jack, 10. And of course, isn't that ironic? I have a wild card. That's just because we're being silly and I'm a comedian. Okay. So you have the royal straight flush. Then you have a straight flush. Then you have four of a kind, full house, a flush, a straight, three of a kind, two pair, one pair, and then high card takes it down. I have won pots with high card against crazy players that I've played, 14 hours straight with, and you get giddy. And at 10 a.m. the next morning or 2 days later, it gets kind of crazy. You play kind of stupid. Anyway, let's see what it says on the bottom there. When playing with wild cards, five of a kind beats all. Yeah, that's not real poker. Anyway, some people might choose to play with wild cards. Big Daddy does not. Let's get back. Let's go back to my list. So the basics, we might be talking about some terminology here. You might hear me throw some poker terms at you. There's probably poker terms that I don't even know about because I've been kind of out with the bad back. But let me show you some more pictures as I get rid of them. I have a lot of pictures. So like I said, for any of those people who don't like shows where I have a lot of pictures, yeah, you might want to just skip out on this one. There's going to be a lot of pictures thanks to Terry King, and I did some searching on the internet myself. So Amarillo Slim, like I said, you're going to see pictures of Doyle Brunson. These are my favorites. Here's one of it's old school poker when you're working with black and white photography. Me being a professional photographer, this is really why I really love Terry's pictures on Real Grinders. I'm telling you, it's worth it alone just to go and see all the pictures that she posts. Some of these pictures you can also find on the internet with Google and whatnot. So you can spend hours. So that is pretty much where I got my start. I started in a very small poker room in Puffless Pete's. A very nice poker room manager taught me how to play. And here's a true story I've told my poker friends for forever. And I still to this day wonder, why can't I remember his name? He was a very nice black man. Can't remember his name. But I wonder if he had different decks set for the number of different students he might have in his new mock poker games. Because in my very first cash game, where we were at the end of the mock practice run, he said, okay, everybody, you want to pull out money? And we pulled out like 20 or 40 bucks, 50 bucks for a 2-4 limit game. And he dealt me in one of the hands a royal flush. And I didn't even win a t-shirt from Puffless Pete's. But I did get to say on the first day of real cash play, I was dealt a royal flush. But again, seriously, what's the math on that? Poker pros, get back to me. So guys like Stewie Younger, who just looked really cool, kind of turned me on to the game. And places I visited, typically downtown, I'd stay at the Golden Nugget, or I think I stayed at Fitzgerald's a couple times. Never stayed at Binion's, but I wanted to, but it just never came to be. But here's the world famous Binion's Horseshoe Club, downtown Las Vegas. And it was these kind of scenes. And I'm grateful to have been there before the big boom. So I'm getting in Vegas when the Dunes is still there. I got to go to the Dunes. I got to go to Bob Stupak's Vegas World. And honestly, that's where my heart is because I'm old school. Just all the old buildings were still there. Some of them were in disrepair and some of them were just starting to go out of business. But for the most part, I got to see, the old ones, the Sands, Sahara, Lady Luck, again, Four Queens. There's so many. The Golden Gate. I used to love going in the Golden Gate and there'd be like little blues bands playing in the back. I'll never forget running into a guy called Knuckles, and he sang Route 66 like you couldn't believe at the Golden Gate, and getting the pancake breakfast and all that kind of thing. Just, I'm so grateful that I was able to be in Vegas before they blew it all up. That's what they did, and then they started making the MGM, and 5,000 toilets later. Actually, no, they started out with the Mirage, but as you can see now, Vegas is just out of control. They're crazy. It's blown up like you can't believe. I should have bought property, but I guess we can all say that. So again, I'm working off the hip here. If you're watching this, you must. If you're in this deep, hey Julie, what's going on from down under? We're talking about poker and my experience in Las Vegas and a site called Real Grinders. They sent me all kinds of cool patches. I've been watching them for years. I used to run poker forums. I used to run one called goallin.com. Good day. Let me put that up on the screen. Who's up this late? What time is it, Julie, down there? What time is it in Australia? Tell me what time it is. That's really cool. If you don't know poker, you're about to learn some serious lessons. There's Doyle Brunson in the black and white photograph. There's Binion's horseshoe, and there's Stu Younger looking really cool. And that certainly looks like that outside World Series of Poker I was talking about, where it was windy, and I could still remember them having issues with holding the cards down. At least that's what I remember. So God bless you, Stewie, and Stewie's family. And I hope to run into you sometime if I make it back out to Vegas, here I am, which should be happening too. We should be getting back out to Vegas with my tour across country where I'm raising money and awareness for my veterans. This Friday at the VA hospital in Wilkes-Barre, I think I started doing the barbecue, taking over for Chico Cameron and Pete up at the Elks Lodge in 1993, 94. I started doing, I don't know the exact dates. It's a blur, but it's my favorite time of the year. I go up and serve my veterans at the VA hospital in Wilkes-Barre. And big shout out to Verastro Beverage for giving me the birch beer again, and all the countless other companies that support us like Sam's Club and Walmart's and various stores around the community. Thank you for helping me with my veterans and the Elks Lodge. I call them my veterans because that's why I joined the Elks. That's why I became president of the Hazleton Elks one year. Was my love for veterans since I'm a wee little child, 5 years old. So I guess you can always say I loved old school. And once I landed in Vegas, that was it. Welcome to Las Vegas. And they had me hook, line, and sinker. So let's see. What do we want to talk about? If you have any questions about poker, please hit me up on the chat. 2:45 p.m.? Are you kidding me? We're like halfway around the clock here, Julie. It's 2:47 a.m. and I have insomnia. And I have friends that have this website called Real Grinders on Facebook and online. And I'm going to put links up for you. Do join this group. If you're into poker, you won't be sorry. Guys like Johnny Chan here. Let me open up the website and see if I can get a list of some of their players. 1 second here. I have, let's see. They have Real Grinder Team Pros. Here's a list for you. Raymond Davis, okay? Raymond, to me, I've never played with Raymond, but I love his forum. I know he's a good heart. He's always doing good for people, always helping young children. He's just got a good soul. And Raymond pretty much is the top boss over there at Real Grinders. And with him, you're going to see names like Johnny Chan, Jeff Madsen, Dan Heimiller, Mike Manasow, who's one of my favorite players, Todd Brunson, another one of my favorite players, Brian Hastings, Jeff Lissandro, which is also should be on everybody's list, Stacy Madison, Paul Darden, and on and on and on. Phil Hellmuth will show up. He sells his books in the store. They have a lounge close to the Rio. Their website, very simple, realgrinders.com. Realgrinders.com. Let me get the graphic if I can find it. So we're talking poker on the Big Daddy Roadshow. And if anybody has any questions, shoot, because I'm in the mood to talk poker. Here it is, realgrinders.com. Very simple. And also, oh, you've never been to Vegas? Oh, God bless you. Do you have gaming? I know you have poker down there, a World Poker Tour, I think. Do they have World Series of Poker branches in Australia? Oh, that's a shame, Julie. You got to get to Vegas. Vegas is crazy. And if you do come, being that you're coming from that far away, Danielle B, I can't remember how to say her last name, but she comes and she interviews people. She was in the Real Grinders Lounge. She comes from all the way from Australia, and she writes about poker. But if you come to Vegas from that far away, make sure you're staying like 10, 15 days. My average stay was about 30 days in the wintertime when my business was down. Also, you can go to realgrindersapparel.com, and they got some really cool stuff. Of course, you can get your patches, but they got everything else, caps and shirts, and you can buy books from all the poker pros. And like I said, if you're in Vegas, do drop in their lounge near the Rio, because you never know who's going to pop in there. You're going to be rubbing elbows with some of the best poker players in the world, guaranteed. And let's see. Julie, would you also please put up a link to your show? You still do your show, right? Please put a link to your show so people can come check out your show, and do let people know about the Big Daddy Roadshow Down Under. I know you probably have, but just kind of saying. So moving on, let's get rid of some of these pictures. As you hear Bella in the background going, "Please, Dad, let's go to sleep." But it's going to be a while, Bella. Bella is my dog, my rescue. She's part wolf, part husky. Let's see. We'll get rid of Doyle Brunson. God bless you, Doyle. And I'm going to drop Binions, but I want to keep that one. That's a cool shot. Here's what everybody's shooting for. This bracelet, World Series of Poker champion. This one looks like it's from 2010. Of course, again, I was never into tournaments, but now I am. And I got through my injury last year, and I'm looking to get back in action. So you can see I even got all my poker chips, pulled out the deck of cards. And while I haven't run a game in a lot of years, I've been doing a lot of book reading. Things are changing too. Young kids are crazy at the poker table anymore. So do be aware that if you're new to the game, I'm going to recommend you play low stakes, play very tight, which means you don't play a lot of hands, play late position. You'll learn that in the first couple chapters of your books, and really pay attention. If you're not in a hand, really pay attention to the other players when they're playing. That's your first tip from Big Daddy. If you're a real poker player, you're paying attention at all times. Okay, so these are the guys that got me into it. And like I said, I'm an East Coaster. So I'm playing at the Tropicana. I'm playing at the Taj Mahal, which, hey, who never told me that it changed to the Hard Rock? When the hell did that happen? I swear to God, I didn't know. I didn't even know. That's how bad I was laying flat in bed and how much I left poker. I just left it. Played a few games for some local guys that were playing some events to get into the World Series of Poker when they filled in for them when they were sick. But yeah, I had no idea. I knew Trump Taj Mahal closed down. I know there was all kinds of controversies with it, but I had no idea that they changed it to the Hard Rock, which is kind of cool. So that's how I got into it. Now, if I go, let's see, I only have Julie here, but let's see. If you're still awake in a few, if I'm still awake in a few hours, you want me to join you for Real Drunk Housewives of Australia? And we could talk about my show. Julie, I'm happy to come on your show. I'd be thrilled to come on your show. Uncle Bruno and I watch your show. Of course, just like you probably don't have a lot of time to watch all the shows that are out there, but not tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a catch-up day, and then I have this real big veterans barbecue that I've been doing since forever ago, and I'm working on my tour around the country to raise awareness for our military. But let's get a rain check. How about that? Wouldn't that be cool? I would really love to do that. But yeah, she's going to run, and good luck with your show later in Australia. Folks, if you want to watch a really cool show, here it is. It's called Real Drunk Housewives of Australia. And here she is inviting Big Daddy. But I'm going to have to catch a rain check on that one. Thank you, though, Julie, for popping in. I appreciate it. All right. So, pictures. How many do we have? Well, I warned you. A lot. Let's see if I can find those Hard Rock pictures. Yeah, look at this. Now, look at this scene here. Let me drop the Tropicana. There's the old view. That's where I would always pull in. Off to the right. You'd drive around to Valet, which would be kind of off to your left underneath those pillars there. And then look what they did to it while I was not paying attention. Same scene, completely different look. I gotta tell you, I don't like modern looks like that. Um, Not that I was totally thrilled with the Taj, but I did love. I'm really big into glass, and they had some of the best chandeliers. I wonder what happened to the chandeliers at the Hard Rock. I wonder if they sold them and made them into different chandeliers. I don't know. So, okay. So, Julie, go get your kids to school and have a fun show later. And like I said, let's hook up and let's make sure. Yeah, I'd love to come on your show, and I'd love to have you come on our show. Really simple to do with Be Live TV software. So we'll talk about that off the air. So yeah, in Atlantic City, this is the old Taj Mahal entrance. And then on the lower left, right under me, is the new Hard Rock. Is it still even open? I don't even know. I also have questions for you. I have some poker questions if you guys are catching the show after the fact. Here's my first question for poker players. How would you rate your play on a scale from 1 to 10? Serious now. If you're new, obviously it's going to be to the lower end. If you've been playing a while and you read some books or you've just been doing time at the felt, of course, you're going to probably raise your number up. And if you're really cocky, you're probably going to say, hey, Big Daddy, come get me. I'm a 9 or 10. Well, unless your name is Michael Mizrachi or Dan Harrington or Phil Hellmuth, I might not buy that. But unless the deck's hitting you in the face, unless you sat on a golden horseshoe, poker is a very interesting game. It's very simple, but it's not. And honestly, I'm doing this video to kind of educate my daughter, who's 15 years old, if she ever plays the game, because there's so many fantastically, incredibly intelligent female poker players. And that's actually one of my questions coming up is who's your favorite female poker player, if I get it up on the screen, and who's the most famous poker players you've played with. But we'll get to that a little bit later. But how would you rate your poker play on a scale from 1 to 10? So if you're working nickel, dime, quarter at the kitchen table, you're probably not going to have a big number. But I'm very curious, and I want to give some interaction stuff. So anyway, like I said, I'm East Coast typically, but I was blessed before with my business and photography. I was able to travel to seminars in Las Vegas, and finally I fell in love with the town. Been there over 50 times. And I'd love to get back. As a matter of fact, when I first had my first back pain experience, I was literally in Vegas, had to go to the hospital in Las Vegas. It was when I had fallen, but I guess whatever caused the pain didn't happen until I was in Vegas. And guess where I was? True story. I was with a friend, and I was staying at the old Continental Hotel, but they had changed it to the name of Terribles. Thank God, because they remodeled it. And I would only go to the Continental if I was staying in Vegas alone, because I liked their little pool, because I'm old school. But I was at Terribles, and I was at the top of the Stratosphere Tower, taking a friend. I was always taking friends to Hoover Dam or to all the sites. And I get to the top of that thing, and my back goes, and I knew I was in trouble. I couldn't even walk. I had to sit down on a bench. I get back to Terribles. I go to the hotel room. I had a rental car, always had a Lincoln Town Car, rental car, and I had to call security to help me in agony, get me to my car, and drive to the big hospital in Las Vegas where they gave me drugs. My first experience with drugs. And that got me on the plane home, and then that started a 14-plus year odyssey of back pain and misery. But I'm praying to God and prayed to God last year, and I got new doctors. They stuck me in the spine, and thumbs up. If you're in back pain or any pain, pray. Go to new doctors. Don't take the drugs. Say no to the drugs. They're killing you too. Quick shout out for that. No drugs, except for maybe weed if you're in a state where it's legal. All right, here's where it's going to get fun. I'm going to show some of my watchers what it looked like when I had hair. And when I had a special time in Las Vegas with a teacher, poker pro, a friend of mine named Teach. Anybody remember Teach? There he is. God love you. Teach was there with Lupe Soto, and I can't remember Lupe's guy, but I don't think they're together anymore. God bless them. And I had won the limit game, and I was a ball buster poker player. I was a boisterous guy. I'm a mental player. They don't even do that anymore. The rules have changed. You can't really talk during hands like you used to. And I got lucky. And Doyle Brunson was at the seminar, so I got him to sign the book, and I got 20 minutes to sit with him and ask him questions. And I'm going to tell you what the question I asked him. I said, "What's the most important thing you could tell me about poker?" And of course, you might have been like, he probably gets 8 million questions a day. But he told me that, you just play the hand backwards, from where you are in the betting action. And he said it's an estimated guess at best. So do your homework, study your players, and then go with your gut. Does it make sense? Does that make sense to you, poker players? If you're new to poker, it might not make sense, but you're constantly evaluating the situation as the cards change. You're constantly watching your players, who you're watching them in other hands. And when you see some people make some hellacious calls, it's because they have years at the game and they've just picked up tells and things to look for. And that's something, sadly, we can't teach new players, but it's a fun game to study. It's like chess. It really is. It's like football. It's like baseball. It's like the more you learn, the more you know, the better you are. That's why you see these poker pros like Phil Hellmuth, who I think has 17 bracelets now from the World Series of Poker. Shout out to you, Phil. I've always been a fan ever since the Taj Mahal. I know you catch a lot of crap, but hey, it ain't bragging if you can bring it. So here's a picture of me with hair, and yeah, it was even dark. If you go back further, you'll even see me with hair even darker than that. Enough gloating about my poker prowess in Vegas. Let's see. So East Coast, I'm playing at the Borgata. Countless trips to the Borgata, countless hotel rooms, countless suites. I can remember the tacky suites at the Taj Mahal with the husks. They were fake. Everything was plastic. But does everybody remember the TV that used to pop up if you pushed a button at the bottom of your bed? That was fun. Cheesy, but fun. And then lastly, let's see. This was, again, I'm a big fan of glass, so this was the grand long hallway for check-in. Beautiful properties in Atlantic City. Here's a picture of our president, who was then the owner of Taj Mahal. I know he catches a lot of crap. And my show does cover a lot of things, political things, and yeah, I'm going to say Trump. Sorry, guys, if you're not voting for Trump, but Trump. Let's just leave it at that. If you disagree, you can tell me in the chat, and we'll just have to agree to disagree. Let's see what else. Our show covers everything. We talk to all kinds of stars, sports stars like Kathy Long, 5-time world kickboxing champion. I've talked to Robert Chip Burner Turner. Shout out to you, brother, if you're watching. There's another great old name in poker. Guys in California still rocking it. Hope to have him on to talk poker, specifically poker stories, the old stories, because I'm old school. Let's see. Like I said, I'm just winging it here, but I want my West Coast friends to see where I play and played, so that they have a full picture. In Vegas, eventually got to the point where I would stay at the Palace Station hotels, just because I like to be center and be able to get to any game that I thought was hot. Downtown, I stayed at the Golden Nugget. I still do and would. I always loved that property. It's big enough, but not too big. And let's see, time to get rid of the Donald before everybody loses their mind. Here's a picture of a really cute girl in an American flag bikini. Why? Because I think we need a break. That's why. Little breaky poo. Let's take it to a time. Okay, so basically, now this is working from my memory. Poker, I showed you the old school pictures, the black and whites, Doyle Brunson, Pugsy Pearson, Tom McAvoy would be a great name. He's a friend of mine on Facebook. Oklahoma Johnny Hale, these old timers that played. They started the game. They started to blow up. It started to be big. Of course, everybody played poker. Kitchen table poker. People in the Army and armed services on their time off, they're playing poker. Poker is America. Poker is apple pie, Chevrolet, poker. Are you with me? Especially if you're new to poker. Poker's not, it's been around a while. Okay? And please don't let me forget to get into terminology, because there's a whole other language for you to learn if you're new to poker. Shit, there's new stuff coming up, even I don't know. But if I recall, You basically in the 80s, and you're going to see pictures like Chip Reese, God bless him. This is Terry's. Terry, my friend Terry from Real Grinders. She was engaged to Chip for 5 years, and I have a really cool picture that she sent me to share when they were in Paris as guests of a billionaire friend that owned a lot of Burger Kings, which is kind of cool. But I'll get to that as soon as it comes by. Let's get rid of the bikini girl. I just did that to see if my guys were awake. Um, where was I? So it started with guys like, the new guys came in with the old guys, Phil Hellmuth, Dan Harrington, guys. Chip Reese was there. Chip Reese was a guy who was a poker pro at the Dunes. I have a really cool graphic of old literature that Terry had shared with me. Let me see if I could find the Dunes paperwork. Bear with me because I do have a lot of pictures to share. Oh, there's the one. Here, let me just get to the one where she sent me the picture of her and Chip Reese in Paris. And she told me a little background scene. She said that he had his pajamas on underneath his clothes that night. But you can see the picture of the Whopper. Folks, that's back in the old days when a Whopper was huge. It literally was a Whopper. Now they're little tiny things. Just like everything else. Everything got smaller, but the prices went up. But look how pretty. Look how pretty she is. And she's in Paris with Chip Reese. Chip Reese is up top counting all that damn money. God bless him. What a great poker player. And let me see if I can find the picture of the old literature from the Dunes. Because like I said, I was blessed to have seen and been in the Dunes. And I got there just before they took it down. There it is. There's an old piece of literature. And you can kind of see the Dunes graphic on it. And you can see down below it's saying Hold'em and Lowball and 7-card stud, any card games. And at that time, the world's highest limits were at the Dunes. So this is before the barrage. This is before all the growth that happened. And again, I want to thank Terry for sharing all these pictures. If you want to see more, join Real Grinders. I'm telling you, here's some black and whites. I wish she was here. I don't know, is this the Sahara that was being built? Look at all that empty land in Las Vegas. That looks like a golf course across the street, probably owned by the property. Look at all that empty space. If you fly into Las Vegas now, in 2019, there's no empty space. You could have bought property in the 90s and you'd be a gazillionaire. Why didn't I buy property? I don't know. I don't get it. So, again, if you're just joining us, this is the Big Daddy Roadshow. This is a special BDRS midweek mashup. I'm literally 4 hours behind. We're talking old pros like Chip Reese, and old photographs from Terry King from Real Grinders. Here's another really, like I'm telling you, wait to see some of these picture samples. This is what you're going to get to see if you go check out that site. All the time she's posting these really, really cool images. And on top of it, you're bumping, you're grinding with poker pros from around the world. And there's a lot of members. I think it's something like 18,000 members, but there's some big names. And here's a picture of the lounge. Here's the Real Grinders Lounge that's near the Rio. I don't know if I can make out that address, but I'll put it on. What does it say? Valley View Boulevard, Suite 4. So it's a little strip mall, but you can see when you go in there, they have all poker books, Real Grinder attire, T-shirts, baseball caps. And it's really not just that. It's who you might bump into, because I've seen countless videos with Raymond where he comes live with all the big poker greats, Johnny Chan, Phil Hellmuth, Dan, everybody, just anybody, the who's who of poker you'll see with Raymond in this place. So if I haven't given it a big enough plug, get on it. And I don't give plugs to, I watched this group for over a year and a half, and I'm not saying that my word is like gold, like I'm a know-it-all or anything, but they run a really good forum for poker. They have a little silliness. Raymond's pretty crazy and funny, He has a lot of fun with some of his friends, but he's a good heart, and they don't let it get out of control. Like some poker forums, which is really cool, and I respect him for that. Let's see. They'll help you with your online poker game. They'll give you information about the states where it's legal. They'll get you hooked up with playing online. If you're new to the game, there's low stakes they play. Just get with Real Grinders and you'll be in good hands. If you have any questions and you want to ask me personally, good luck. I'm going to show you my phone. For a show that doesn't have many viewers when I'm live, why do I get so many messages? I think it's a conspiracy. But as you can see, you see that? Let's see if we can get in there. You see the blue? It's not really showing up that good. Let's see. There we go. You're going to see a lot of blue. These are the ones I can't, and friend requests, of course. But the blue ones are the ones I can't answer. The dark ones, I ain't got time. There's just not enough time. You see Uncle Bruno scrolling by. He's always, I'll answer Uncle Bruno. But there's just so many people that watch my shows after the fact. They're still looking at my shows from 2 years ago, and I'll see it pop up on Facebook. But when it comes to lives, it doesn't show big numbers. I don't get it. How do I have so many messages right when I go live? I'll never understand Facebook or YouTube or any of social media, but we do have a lot of viewers. And if you're watching, thank you. If you're sharing, thank you a lot. And this is a special show on poker. Let me get back to I want to get into some of the terminology. And I also want to ask my Pennsylvania friends, is it legal? I know it was voted legal to play poker online in Pennsylvania, but is there any websites, any casinos that are actually up and running? I did a search on Google, and for the life of me, I can't find the true answer. So if anybody knows, it's supposed to be happening like right now, mid to late 2019. Apparently, global poker is legal, but if anybody has any information on Pennsylvania poker, I'd really appreciate it. If you'd drop me a note, or like right here, it's saying poker sites open for your state. Bovada, Ignition, Intertops, Bet Online, sports betting. Oh, of course, sports betting is legal now through our local casino, Mohegan Sun, I believe. That's going to be huge. But I went on onlinepokerreport.com. It says everything we need to know about PA online poker and casinos. And I still don't. Let's see. Parks Casino has indicated PA Online Casino will go live July 15th. Will likely be the first PA gaming app and site in the state. Online Poker Report is aware that at least one other casino, again, I can't talk, one other casino should launch at the same day, but it doesn't go specifically into poker. So if you know, please let me know. I'd love to really know. So if you're new to poker, let's talk about some terms. Ante, it's a minimum bet. It's called the ante. It's a minimum bet required from all players before a hand is dealt. This is required to contribute to the prize pool, which is known as the pot. A buy-in, the amount that's needed to play in a specific poker game. Small blind, the first compulsory bet made by the first player to the left of the dealer. Now, if you take notice, we have a dealer at typical casino games, but you'll look at the little puck that goes around the table. That's called a dealer button. And that represents that the dealer is dealing the hand for the player that has that puck in front of them. The big blind is the second compulsory bet that's made by the second player left of the dealer button. Okay? So basically this guarantees action. Guarantees that there's going to be something happening. Occasionally in games, you might have some bad cards and people might chop or surrender, or they'll just surrender the hand. And take their blinds back. Sometimes people just want to gamble. Let's see. I'm going to give you this website, bestusacasinosites.com. It's got really cool list of terminology. Of course, we went over the hands, the royal flush, the flush, straight flush, full house, five of a kind if you're working with wild cards. But yeah, not really into that. Some other terms, fold. Obviously, it's you ending your hand in that particular deal. A check is when you don't, when there's no betting action to you, You're going to check your hand, but not put money into the pot. Okay? Of course, a call is if there's a bet made, you're going to call. You're going to call what the bet is. If you're new to the game and you don't know what the wager is that you need to call, just say, dealer, what do I owe? What's the action to me? And they'll let you know how much. If you claim raise, or if another player claims raise, this is when the betting action goes up. Okay? So usually it's double the bet of the last bet made, but in no limit hold'em, hold on to your boxers, because it can go from very small to very big very fast. Same thing with pot limit. Pot limit players that are new to the game don't realize just how quick just a couple of players with action can really put you all in. So I'll put the link to all these other terms. There's countless terms, okay? Ducks or deuces. These are simple ones, but I won't bore you with that right now. But there's a whole language to poker, and don't sweat it when you first start playing the game. You'll pick it up, and your neighbors to your left and right, if they're cool, and not all poker players are cool, but majority of poker players are really fun. It's also the only game you can play where you're playing the players and not the house. Of course, you're giving the house what's called a rake. They're going to take in their little juice. They got to make money. And the dealers are going to get tipped, hopefully. Always remember to tip your dealers. They're working hard. Do not get mad at your dealers if they give you a losing hand. They're not in it intentionally like that. It's just the way the card's dealt out. It's very rude to be not courteous to your dealers. I've taken some seriously bad hits, some one-outers on the river with some serious money in the pot. And you just got to have good sportsmanship and say, nice hand, and then go cry in the corner. One of my favorite hands was in my backroom game where one of my friends, Barry K., who served in Vietnam, chased me down with a pair of pocket threes. He had a pair of threes. That's all he had. And he just kept putting money in, and I knew I had him beat. He just kept putting money in, and he even raised me at one point. And then he pulled a stunt. And he's jokingly said, rebuy. And on the river, he caught the third three and beat my hand. Anyway, that's the way poker goes. Sometimes you're up against serious gamblers. Sometimes they just want to beat you so bad they'll chase you down and hunt you down. And sometimes they get that magic golden horseshoe stuck up their bum. Poker can be a devil. Just remember, bet with money that you can afford. Don't lose your mind. If you go tilt, there's another poker term. Tilt means you're losing your mind. Walk away from the game. Get out of the game, go to the pool, buy a newspaper, do what I used to do in Vegas. Go across the street to the convenience store gas station and buy yourself a bottle of Maker's Mark or Crown Royal Black. Get some soda, some ice, maybe a styrofoam coolie, and go to the pool. Make yourself a couple drinks and get a suntan. There'd be many days I wouldn't even play poker. I'd play poker when I wanted to, when I'm fresh, when I'm sharp. That's what I recommend you do. But don't go tilt. Too many people lose their mind in poker. That's your biggest tip. Tilt. Don't go tilt. Let's see. Let's get some. We got lots more pictures to go. I hope some people that are new to the game are learning something. I hope people that are old correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a while since I played. I'm a little bit rusty, but I'm coming back. Thanks to my doctors. Let's see. Some of my favorite players. Well, there he is, the Brat and Johnny Chan. I've never met Johnny Chan. I have met Phil Hellmuth. I've photographed Johnny Chan at the World Series of Poker. But like I said, I'm not one to bug celebrities. And I always feel like if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But rock and roll, Johnny Chan. Now, as promised, I'm going to show you a video. And we'll take a little break. But what happened was, a guy named Moneymaker wins the World Series of Poker. Okay, these guys, the old guys, and then Phil Hellmuth, they start building poker up. A guy named Moneymaker, who's a great guy. I have met Chris Moneymaker. He's a fantastic guy. And poker just kind of went boom. But prior to Moneymaker, which I think was in the early 2000s, 2003, there was a movie called Rounders. And that's what I'm going to show you guys if you're new to poker. Here's a scene from Rounders, and this show will end with the mother of all scenes from Rounders. And like I said, I hope you enjoy it. we'll see what other kind of pictures I want to show, but we're probably going to start going rapid succession with these pictures because there's just so many cool pictures. And hopefully you guys, we're already an hour into this. Hopefully if you're new to poker or if you're interested in poker, you're digging this show. Let's see. Here's just a really cool picture of an ace of spades. The spades are my favorites, by the way. If you haven't figured it out. But there's Phil Hellmuth, the Poker Brat, and these are two legends, epic legends, like Stu Younger. These guys are in a category all by themselves. If you're into poker, you should know these guys. Another picture of Chip Reese and Doyle Brunson, another rock star level icon of the game. One of my favorites, Doyle Brunson. Very nice gentleman. Sat with him for 20 minutes, like I said, when I got my trophy for limit poker and a small poker seminar. There was tons of poker seminars back when it started to go boom. And I was blessed to have won one and got to sit next to Doyle. Not playing poker, just bullshitting. Very nice man. Picture of him and Chip Reese. So, let's see. Let's get rid of these pictures and let's go to a real short video that a lot of poker people are going to know. If you guys haven't seen the movie Rounders, do yourself a favor. It's really going to kind of get you pumped. I'm sure just like The Big Lebowski and other cult hit movies, if you're a poker fan, you've probably watched that movie many times. So there's a question. I won't put it on the screen, but if you're a fan of the movie Rounders, how many times have you watched it? I got to be at least over the years 20 times. You just get a bug. You get a bug and you got to watch it. Doyle Brunson and Chip Reese. Now, let's get to the video. This new software, bear with me. I got Rounders 1, and here we go. Here it is. Let me just pull this one up and make it big. Back to my software, bring it to the screen, make me smaller, and enjoy.
There ought to be one. You know what cheers me up when I'm feeling shitty?
What?
Rolled up aces over kings.
That right?
Yeah. Check raising stupid tourists and taking huge pots off them.
Yeah?
Stacks and towers of checks I can't even see over. Playing all night, high limit hold'em at the Taj, where the sand turns to gold.
Fuck it, let's go.
Don't tease me.
Let's play some fucking cards.
That's my home right there. That's my drive right there.
The poker room at the Mirage in Vegas is the center of the poker universe. Doyle Brunson, Johnny Chan, Phil Hellmuth, the legends consider it their office. Every couple of days, a new millionaire shows up wanting to beat a world champion.
There's the chandeliers. They're all gone now.
Down here, the millionaires are scarce or they're playing craps, but there's still plenty of money for the taking. In fact, on the weekends, you can't get a game in the city because all the New York
Rounders, yeah. Well, go watch the movie. You'll see the rest of that.
There ought to be one.
We're going to just say goodbye to this one. Okay, let me get rid of that. That's a famous scene from Rounders. Right before that, he was saying the famous line, what? Women are the rake of life. Ugh, what a great movie. The next scene you'll see at the end of this video is the favorite scene where he's in the backroom game and he owes all the money. And remember the guy, the tough guy, just doing this, waiting to beat the crap out of Matt Damon. Stick around, that one's coming. Did some of these pictures. Trump Taj Mahal, picture with me with hair, the Hard Rock, the Tropicana, Pugsy Pearson, the Bracelet World Series of Poker. One more time, though, I'm going to give a shout out to my troops, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Merchant Marines, Coast Guard. Thank you for serving our country. This week at the Wilkes-Barre VA Hospital, I'll be doing what I've done since the 90s, doing a barbecue with all kinds of friends from the Elks Lodge and friends that aren't even Elks come up and help us. We'll serve staff, everybody. If you're helping the vets up at the VA, come up Friday and enjoy a hamburger, corn on a cob, all donated from farms and businesses from all over Northeast PA. And a big shout out to Verastros, who has been giving me birch beer on tap for years, and all the other people that contribute. But honestly, I'm not on the committee anymore. I've kind of passed the baton on. And this summer, I want to go across country with the Big Daddy Roadshow and bring awareness for veterans in need, trying to get them help. Going to network with different groups that help veterans. Going to hopefully interview some top brass people from the military and also our government to make sure that our service people are being cared for 2019 style. God bless you if you're serving in the troops. If you're a veteran, thank you for your service. That's that public service announcement. I live for the flag. I live for it. Since I'm 5 years old, I've supported the troops. So now the World Series of Poker. Poker is kind of big now. Check it out. See that C? If you ever want to hear one of the coolest things ever, even if you're not into poker, go to the World Series of Poker and just listen to the poker chips clanking times 100,000. It's the craziest sound you'll ever hear. It's like heaven to a poker player. And get yourself into a satellite game, a 10-seater shootout, and try to win your seat into a big game. $1,500 on up to 10 grand. If you're in the nosebleed section with people that I would never play with, 50,000. It's crazy. That's just one room, by the way. If you're new to poker, there's more rooms than what they show. It's an insane game. You have to be like spawning salmon. You have to get lucky, 15 to 30 sometimes. Ask anybody who knows. You need luck in poker. You have to have luck. You don't win every hand. If you won every hand with the math, it wouldn't even be fun playing the game. Here's another picture of my friend Jerry Yang. He was one who prayed, remember? He used to pray. He used to look at his picture of his family, kiss it, say a prayer. A lot of people gave him guff for that. I didn't. He's a good friend. He's a really good poker player, and he's a real humble guy and does a lot of good benevolent acts. He's not above. He's just cool. Shout out to Jerry Yang. Glad to be your friend. This is the young man who won this year's World Series of Poker. Is his name Sin? I can't remember. Where's my notes? I really can't remember. I don't know the young guns. I've been out of the loop. Fill me in. John Sin? Is that it? I really don't know. Let me see if I have him up on the screen, because I'd hate to say the guy's name wrong. That would just be wrong. Sacrilegious even in the poker world, but I really am out of the loop. I just wanted to share information about my friend's poker group because they really do a good job. Remember, I'm hanging out with the guys like Tom McAvoy and Amarillo Slim when I'm starting poker. Let's see here. I do have a list here of, it looks like Phil Hellmuth. I think he's at the top of the leaderboard with the bracelets at 17, but it doesn't show the current. I think that's his name. Anyway, shout out also to some of the great players, Annie Duke and Jen Harmon and Maria Ho, and just great women poker players. Terry King. You can't even name them all. Liebert, I played with her one time. Other greats, obviously, Greg Fossilman Raymer. He was one of my first interviews up in New York. Turning Stone, I think it was, when I did a podcast with Fossilman. Daniel Negreanu, Phil Ivey. There's just too many poker greats. There's too many poker greats. I'm scrolling through just pictures, and there's people I don't even know. But certainly Moneymaker, one of my favorites, if not the one of the top favorites. Daniel Negreanu, just an amazing poker player. Never played with him, been around him, photographed him. Would love to sit next to him. Him and I would definitely get into some banter and have some fun. Maybe, if my prayers are answered, we'll be back in action next year. And online, like right now. So if you know about Pennsylvania being legal, let me know. All right, it seems like just a Big Daddy show here, but it's really just about poker and my love for it and the love of the game. Here's some pictures of some pretty ladies playing poker. If you are a lady and you're intimidated to play, I get that all the time. I know women that are certainly not intimidated one bit, and I love powerful women like that. But I have played next to women who are timid and shy, and they're not acting, they're not bluffing, they're not playing. They really just don't like it when other people are aggressive verbally and whatnot. So, like I said, I am a boisterous player. I am a mind player. I like to talk my way through hands, much like Daniel Negreanu. I've learned to calm and cool my jets a little bit. If I'm playing in a backroom garage game with a bunch of heathens, a bunch of guys or women that are crazy, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, it can get really insane. I like that kind of mental jousting game. But let's face it, at the World Series of Poker, you're probably going to get timed out. Players can call you on things. You're not supposed to talk unless your head's up, that kind of thing. There's all kinds of rules. Make sure you read the rules of the tournament you're signing into so you don't get yourself timed out and troubled and lose chips for nothing. But fantastic female poker players. I still say to this day that if you're a woman and you're smart and you read the books, you have an advantage against most men at the poker table for one reason: the male ego. And women, guys are just distracted by us. It's crazy. So if you're new to it, if you're thinking about it, get yourself in some low stake games, get yourself some action, read the books, and don't be like this guy, Worm. If your nickname is the Worm, just quit poker. Here's a picture of the brat. I don't know, he's just showing off how many fingers he has or something. That's probably his friends just showing that he had 15. I think he has 17 bracelets now. 17. That's insanity. 17. And all my friends that bust the brat's balls. How do you do it? I mean, I know he's also Mr. Entertainment. He's like P.T. Barnum. He's always coming up with entertaining ways, ridiculous ways to get on camera. He would pretend. I literally watched him pretend cry in Atlantic City, but he's made himself into one of the biggest poker brands in poker, like Daniel Negreanu, like Doyle Brunson, Todd Brunson, all these greats. If you're getting into poker, you'll know these names. Trust me. It won't be long. You'll get the bug. Let's see. We don't need that picture of me with the hair anymore. Get rid of that. This video can go. This video can go. Here's just something when you want to see in front of you during a tournament. Lots of chips. Here's a typical poker room. This is probably the Borgata, I'm guessing. This came from my pictures. Looks like the Borgata. Could be the Tropicana remodeled. I don't know. I like the old Tropicana that I remember well. Here's a picture of the Tropicana. Used to play in a very famous game there, really late. And used to love getting back rubs. While I was playing, you'd sit backwards on the chair. I'm reminiscing. I'm enjoying memories. Poker rocks. And then, like I said, that movie came, Rounders, and just wrecked everybody. So I hope I'm not boring you guys too much with my poker talk. Like I said, I'm doing some of this just to let my daughter know. I would love to hear my father explain his love for gaming, but they didn't have this technology back in the day. He died in 1984. He served in Korea, God bless him. I'd love to hear his thoughts on, well, he played blackjack. I don't think he was a poker player, but when Rounders came on the scene with Matt Damon, forget about it. And like I said, I'll end this little ditty with a really cool video. If you haven't seen the movie, it won't kill it. It's just more or less a trailer. But this is my poker face, by the way. If I have a hand or I don't have a hand, this is my poker face at the poker table. Not this face. This face coming up. What do I have? Aces or nothing? Also, listen to people when they're talking. Audible tells are important. A lot of tells you're going to see on players are below the table. Pay attention. Read some books on tells. Study. Keep playing. Keep playing. And learn. Oh, hey, here's another picture of me in a studio, which was connected to my backroom poker game, because that's what I did. I took pictures for a living. And this was during a day we had a couple table tournament where we were sending somebody to something in Atlantic City. Here's Big Daddy with hair. Just doing this was actually a pose picture. This had nothing to do with poker. This was just all posed. People wanted to do some pictures posed. Look how thin I was compared to being with Jerry Yang. But you can see I was starting to lose the hair. Starting to go bye-bye. Starting to get a little salt and pepper there. But I still fit into my hard rock jean jacket. Here's a picture of one of the players that played in my game and almost made it to the money this year, Justin P. I won't say his last name because I didn't get his permission. Justin P. almost made it to the money and won his seat in a game that I played. I played for a guy named Harry C. when he was sick or unable to play during work. Shout out to you, Justin, for representing Hazleton, Pennsylvania. He went live from the World Series of Poker. He was this close. He just got caught in some really bad hands, and he didn't get lucky when he had to get lucky, but he was very close to cashing, and he made us proud. Justin, you'll get there, man. I remember when you started out, I remember playing in many games with you. You are really getting the game. Proud of you, man. And you really represented Hazleton pretty cool. I wish you would have made that cash, though. Next year. Here he's sporting some new shades somebody gave him. Let's see. The beautiful Atlantic City coastline. Haven't been there in a while. Is it still beautiful? Of course, the Taj Mahal is no longer there. I don't even know what that building is behind it. I can remember staying in the Showboat many times. That was a place my brother and I, Pat, used to stay. What's that building behind there? There's so much. I got to get back to Atlantic City. But since Pennsylvania became legal, nobody went. Between my backroom poker game and legal poker in Pennsylvania, nobody drove to Atlantic City anymore. That's why when people give Trump a hard time for losing his businesses, what do you think happened when all the other states went legal with gaming? People didn't go to Atlantic City as much anymore. Just a thought. Just wanted to mention that. They just didn't have the traffic they used to have. Just to show everybody how fat I used to be. Boom. What the hell is that? Ugh. Crazy. All right. This is also, I'm going to take a break and just mention that I will be going across country. I started in Brooklyn. I was invited to Brooklyn by the IT Crew. Shout out to the IT Crew. Look them up. They're freestyle and singers. They do freestyle. Gino and Pasquale and John, they help other musicians. They are just great friends of mine from the Poconos, and they have connections in Brooklyn and the Bronx and Yonkers and New York City. And they invited me up to a Brooklyn block party to meet a couple Hollywood stars and New York City stars. And if you haven't seen that video, I'm still pinching myself. Shout out to you guys. Thanks. Appreciate that. But I am going around the country with these stars. These stars are stars that I've cut out myself. Before anybody loses their mind, there's a proper way to dispose of American flags. And we do it at the Elks Lodge with the help of the Boy Scouts. It educates the Boy Scouts. There's a great ceremony. If you've never seen it, if your Elks Lodge offers it, please do go and watch the ceremony where the Boy Scouts explain everything about the flag. And then they retire it respectfully. Here, what I did is I've taken the stars and I'm asking business people to write out checks to me, where I will use the money to get around the country to hopefully raise more money via poker tournaments, car shows, at various Elks Lodges, and any other venues that'll have Big Daddy. We can do DJ music. We have all kinds of plans to just get together, hang out, BS a little bit, have some fun, and raise money for charity at my Elks Lodge specifically, and also any participating Elks Lodges. So if you'd like one of my stars, and with the star comes a little paper that explains that, just to respect Old Glory. And these are very nice embroidered stars, and it's been done before. And like I said, everything's done with respect. I wouldn't do anything. As I cut each one of these stars, and I have cut, you're looking at a pile of about 1,500 stars there. Thank you to Amy and Lenny Gibson. Not Amy Gibson, Amy and Lenny Gibson at the Elks Lodge. If it wasn't for Lenny giving me one of those stars as a personal gift, I never would have had the idea. It takes me hours and hours and hours to cut them. And I'd love to hand one to you so that you can remember somebody you love that served your country, or just a reminder of what Old Glory means, and just to show respect to the flag. I'm asking for business people to donate. I have a couple people already handing me money. This will help me get around the country and hopefully raise awareness for veterans with PTSDs and other problems, and in hopes of talking to professionals that'll help them get to the help they need quicker, sooner rather than later. I think we should do a lot more to help our veterans after they've served our country. That's my take. Anyway, that's what we're doing. That's part of what we're doing. Stay tuned. We'll be telling you a lot more as the tour continues. We're going to be going up to see Uncle Bruno up in New Hampshire, Cape Cod area. Maybe hit up a Boston baseball game. So if you see us out there on the road, honk the horn if you love your flag, and please hug a veteran. Like the guy I met today, Al, served in Vietnam on an aircraft carrier. Cool guy. Like I said, I've been into the flag and serving veterans for a long time. Here's a picture from the Taj Mahal. This is a famous scene from Rounders, and I actually sat at the table in that same scene. I wasn't there the night they filmed, but I can tell you I sat at those tables for endless hours at the Taj Mahal, and I just thought that was an interesting picture to share. I warned you, if you weren't into poker, you weren't going to dig this one. Here's a picture of Johnny Chan, another poker legend, also in Rounders. Key character, plays himself. Matt Damon plays him heads up. I think he bought in for 6 or 8K. And I won't spoil it for you. Definitely watch the movie Rounders. I'll have the trailer end at the end of this show. This show is dedicated to all my Rounder friends and people that are new that keep asking me questions about poker. And like I said, to just show some of my favorite players. Here's Mike the Mouth. Met him in Las Vegas. Can't remember where. Could have been New York. I forget the room. Which one had the 4 of a kind? They had 4 of a kind bonuses. Used to love that. You hit 4 of a kind. There was one night I was there with a girlfriend from Oklahoma. We had all hit we made more money in the bonuses that they offered with the 4 of a kind bonuses than we did playing limit poker that night. And we had a hell of a good time. There's so much fun to be had at poker games. You could be sitting next to a doctor, a physicist, an astronaut, a school teacher, somebody who picks up the garbage. You could be sitting next to somebody who fixes muscle cars or builds motorcycles. Everybody from around the world, all kinds of walks of life, sitting at a poker table. Every nationality loves the game of poker. It's a great game. Give it a shot. Give it a shout. It's getting late. 3:43 a.m. I have insomnia, and this is how I deal with it. Here we go. Shout out to Verastros. It's backwards. Got to look at it backwards. But take note, the American flag. That's my hometown. Hazleton and West Hazleton, Pennsylvania. These guys have been supporting me and my veterans barbecues since the 90s. God bless you guys. Thanks for supporting Old Glory, and thanks for always being there for our Elks. This Friday, the Birch Beer will be on Verastros. If you're in the area and you're thirsty for a beverage, soda, or libations, beer, coolers, it's the coolest place. You just drive right up that driveway that's behind me there. You drive in, the people put the booze and stuff right in your car. You pay your bill, and you drive out the other way. Very convenient, right off Route 93 in West Hazelton, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Verastros, for always supporting Big Daddy. I appreciate it very much. Here's Al. Here's the guy I told you I bumped into today. Take notice, he's wearing the flag. He's got the flag everywhere. Here's something ironic. When I was going to see Tim's Towing invited Big Daddy's Roadshow to Pocono Raceway Infield this year. Now, I've been to racetracks all over the country before my back accident. I've been all over. I was blessed with my business. But since the accident, now being healed with a new doctor, thank God, I'm driving to Tim's Towing because he's going to do some business with me to raise money for my veterans and to help me with this tour. And as I'm getting to find his place, which is a little bit off the beaten path in the woods outside of the city, this lady's waving at me like Forrest Gump. And it's a really funny story. She's waving at me like she knows me. And I just drove by, but I waved because if somebody waves or if they say good morning or good afternoon, I'm old school. How you doing? So I go down to Tim's Towing. Shout out to Tim's Towing, just outside of West Hazelton on 924 on, ironically, Veterans Road. I had to turn on Veterans Road to get to his place. He wasn't there. And I waited around. That's where I saw the picture of the Oldsmobile that I think I showed. It's definitely on my group fan page. It's definitely on my personal page. The 442 Oldsmobile with the white interior. He wasn't around. Also the Stingray, the blue Stingray. That's where those pictures came from. So on the way back, I'm getting out of there. He's not there. I can't talk to him. I called, left a message for Tim. Shout out to Tim's Towing. If you need a tow, he's a good guy. Call Tim's Towing. Thank you, Tim, for the invite. Met a lot of veterans in the infield of Pocono. It was a good day. It was fun. If you've never been to Pocono infield, concerts, racing, it's just a good time. Pocono Raceway, thumbs up. But this is Al, and Al served in Vietnam on an aircraft carrier that handled helicopters. He was telling me about how they came up on the elevator and they went off and did their mission. The man's near 70 years old. He's so humble, so cool, so nice. And Kathy, his neighbor, takes care of him. I thought that was sweet. So they were sitting there on the porch, and what do they offer me but a Bloody Mary in a skull glass? Nancy Weems in Tennessee with your mason jar. Uncle Bruno, can you believe it? In a skull glass. Well, she was so sweet with waving at me, like Forrest Gump. I was like, I had to pull over, had to talk to him. Plus, I had to meet this rock star with the flag all over himself. And then we sat and talked about his service. Al, thank you for serving our country. You're a rock star. I have beard envy. And the skull glasses, since I love skulls and the American flag, that was just a bonus. See, wearing the same shirt when I was hanging out with Al earlier. Thank you, Al, for your service. I appreciate it. So does our country. Well, most of us do. Amen. And Kathy, thanks for the Bloody Mary. She makes different kinds. This was her summer version. It was very tasty. Here's some pictures of Las Vegas from Terry. This is the kind of thing you're going to see if you check out Real Grinders. You're going to see old pictures of Las Vegas. It's worth it. It's worth it just for that. Here's another plug. Real Grinders Poker. So if you're playing in the World Series or World Poker Tour, join this group. You're going to learn a lot. Read the threads. I still learn a lot. And I've forgotten a lot that I've learned. But Real Grinders is the real deal. Real poker pros from all over the place. Check them out. You never know who's going to pop in. I don't know if he'll pop in, but this is what I'm talking about, that kind of level. This is the Big Daddy Roadshow. We support our flag and our troops always. Old Glory means a lot to me, and everybody that comes on my show knows that. Please respect it. And if you don't know your history, please read it. God bless America. Let's see, we'll wind down here. I'm just going to start ripping through pictures here. It's 3:49 a.m. If you put up with me this long, let me know in the chat. And if you have any poker questions that I haven't covered, or if you have something I said wrong, let me know. Get rid of some of these pictures out of the queue. I got pictures in the queue. I just love this picture of Binions. This is what I remember. Of course, the canopy, the Fremont Street experience wasn't there when I first got there in Las Vegas. But if you haven't been downtown Las Vegas, it's worth seeing. Very cool what they did. Here's a picture of Raymond Davis from Real Grinders. Look at him. What do you think he has? It's hard to tell. It's hard to read his face. He's probably got deuces. I got to get to play with you, Raymond. You're going to be a good time at the poker table. I guarantee it. Okay. Big shout out to Terry King from Real Grinders. Oh, just deleted their picture. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? I just deleted it. Instead of putting it up on the screen, I deleted it. Let me see if I can fix that. That's crazy. What did they do that for? It was so dumb. I'm learning the new software and I deleted a cute picture of Terry. That's crazy. Where are you, Terry? Let me find it. I'm going to get that one up. Also, here's a picture of Kathy. She's not on the internet, but she said I could put this picture up. And Al. This is from earlier today when I was going to Tim's Towing. Shout out to Tim's Towing. Thanks for the invite to Pocono. If you need a tow job in the area of Hazleton, West Hazleton, call Tim's Towing. He could probably pull the big things too. He's got some pretty big trucks. Nice meeting you, Al and Kathy. All right. Hopefully I have other pictures of Terry because I can't find that damn picture. Son of a bitch. Johnny Chan, Jerry Yang, Atlantic City, Justin, me with hair. One more time, me with hair. My poker face. We'll get rid of that. My lucky day at the poker tables in Vegas where I had to carry this heavy crystal piece that Lupe Soto put together. It's still beautiful. I still cherish it. I've won other awards, but this one was important to me. Get rid of that. We'll get rid of certainly that one, that young guy and that thin guy and yeah, he's gone. And here's just a cool, this is called a card topper. Something new for poker players. If you're sitting there at the table and you're new, always protect your cards. Keep your cards covered. If you put a card topper or some little trinket, the dealer will know by touch that you're still in the play. If you sit in the first seat or the 10th seat or 9th seat, depending on what table you're playing at, really protect your cards and even hold on to them with your fingers. Do not let go of your cards. Even if you turn them up, put your fingers on them, especially if the pot's big. Protect your cards at all times. If a dealer mucks them, you could be in trouble. You don't want your cards in the muck unless you want your cards in the muck. That's another tip for you. Poker tip. Protect your cards at all times. Picture of the Rio. I stayed here many times. What a beautiful place. I've been hearing bad things lately. Ventilation. I don't even know if they still have the little fantasy thing in the sky above the slot machines and stuff, but I always thought it was a cool property, and I used to stay in it before the second tower that they built behind it, and then I stayed in the second tower. That's even nicer. If you're at a poker table, you want to hunt the fish. Okay, you're going to hear people say things like, let's go fishing, let's get the fish. You do not want to be called a fish in poker, unless you're a shark or a dolphin. So there's another tip for you. If you hear people calling you a fish, keep reading your books. By the way, I love ducks. So this is a picture of my daughter. My daughter's on vacation in Pittsburgh. This is from the Pittsburgh Zoo. Look at this. Look at the koi fish and the duck. Pretty nice picture my daughter took too. Hope you're having fun, hon. I love you. Here's a really cool picture from Terry. Las Vegas Lightning, Luxor, New York, New York. Is that the Monte Carlo? I can't tell. Looks like Excalibur. Yeah, really cool picture. Here's another cool picture. Guy with a shit ton of chips and no face. Some people like to hide their face at the poker game. That's to hide their tails. They'll wear the hoodies. If you're in the World Series of Poker, another tip, be prepared for any kind of weather, really freezing or really hot. Also, if you're in the World Series of Poker, have snacks, eat quality food. It's a long haul. These games go on for hours and hours, so you want to make sure you don't want to be like that big heavy guy I was showing you earlier. Go in knowing what to expect if it's your first time in like a World Poker Tour tournament or a World Series of Poker. I'm just winging it here, just talking poker. Rid of that one. We still have lots of pictures though. Still want to do another shout out for Verastros. Thanks for donating to me for all these years since the 90s. If you're watching this from the Hazleton area and you need some beer or some wine coolers or soda or birch beer, Verastros on, I guess it's Route 93, Broad Street, West Hazleton. Drive right in, ring the bell, get your booze, pay your bill, out the door. In and out. You don't even have to leave the car. It's really cool. Shout out to you guys. Here's a picture of Real Grinders Lounge again. 386. Whoa, how come I can see this picture better, Raymond? 3863 S. That's South Valley View Boulevard, Suite 4, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89103. Where you can get all kinds of cool things like this in all kinds of colors. Baseball caps. They're pretty styling. Pretty cool. Probably going to put them all over my jeans. Look at that. That's a cool one. A monotone, black and white. This is one that I really dig. Green. Look at the detail on that. You guys see the detail? I feel like Mr. Rogers showing off things to kids. Look at the red one. That's pretty, that's lit. That's lit. Can you still say that? Here's a picture of Chris Moneymaker. Here's a picture of old school Las Vegas. What is that, the Fremont? God, I wish Terry King was watching. Maybe she'll join the chat after. 92 minutes in. It's 3:56 a.m. and I'm still wide as, look at, oh my God, I think the bat's back. I think there's a bat in the studio again. Wait a minute. Remember last year when there was a bat in the studio? What the hell was that? Either that or it was Mothra. You never know what's going to happen on this live show. It's ridiculous. This is the Big Daddy Road Show. We're talking poker. It's a game I love. It's my sport of choice. And I'm just sharing some cool things with my friends. A real cool group. If you're new to poker, check it out. Also, can I get a confirmation on this, please? Is Raymond really a Phillies fan? I've been a Phillies fan since I'm like 8 years old, when Mike Schmidt and Greg Luzinski and all those guys, Maddox, Pete Rose. Is it true? Are we both Phillies fans? Or are you just wearing that cap just to hide your face for poker? Inquiring minds want to know. We're talking Texas Hold'em. We're talking online poker. If you want to learn about the game, if you're new, if you're not new but you have questions, get with Real Grinders. Seriously, I ain't got time to even answer my messages for my show. I mean, not that I won't help my close friends, but I ain't got time. If you want to pay me, I'll definitely get you past the basics. But if you want the real pros, go to Real Grinders. Me, I know the game, but I got to be in the mood to play. I have attention deficit disorder. Here's a picture of Terry King with Chip Reese, and she says here it's a World Series of Poker cash game, early '80s. I'm playing with. I don't know if that says. Let me see if I get rid of the logo. Is it John Chan? Is that what she's saying? Let's see if I can go to nothing. How do I do that? Yeah, John Chan, Tommy Kress, Ray Z, and Chips telling jokes. She said he was very funny, very funny. And in the 5 years she was engaged with him, never a cross word. Never a cross word. She's pretty cool. I asked her who her favorite poker player is, and she said, well, of course, Chip. And she said that she got Stewie's ex, Madeline, and daughter Stephanie to join Real Grinders. That's an accomplishment. God bless them. And again, Stewie was just, if you don't know Stewie, I'll put links to the movies and whatnot. Very cool. Here's also some links to Real Grinders. You can go to realgrinders.com. I'll leave that up for a few seconds. And I'll put up another picture. Terry's got the best pictures. It's worth it just to see the old Vegas pictures. Benny Binion. Check him out. Very cool. Here's something I'm not supposed to post. Get rid of that. I can't post that. Liberals will lose their mind. Oh, here's a picture. Here's a picture that, remember the lady I told you I met that was waving at me like Forrest Gump with Al, the guy who served on the aircraft carrier? I love that picture of Terry, by the way. Look at that smile. Chip must have been hysterical. That's a real smile. I'm a photographer. I know a great shot when I see it. And that's a pinnacle of a laugh and a good time at the poker game. And let me see if she has it. She told me who the photographer was. Did I put it in the graphics? She did say also she connected with the valet at the dunes recently on Facebook. I thought that was interesting. Oh, here we go. Here's what she said. She said that Binion's had a photographer, and here was his name. How do you say that name? Aldous Alberts was Binion's World Series of Poker photographer. Shout out to you, sir, from another professional photographer. That's a cool picture. Very cool picture, indeed. Probably I'm the only one that's digging this talk, but I hope somebody's getting some enjoyment out of it. Here's a picture of Kathy, the lady I met today that takes care of the veteran Al next door, lives next door to her. She's having some issues with her eyes, and she paints all these cool little trinkets she has. She's really good at painting, but she has a depth problem with her eyes, so she has to really be meticulous. And here's something she doesn't know how old it is, but it looks really cool. And I wonder if that's just a depiction of something from 1889. I was talking about Longfellow the other day with a book I own from 1839. But yeah, it's interesting the cool people you meet around if you just say hello. Look at what she showed me. She wanted me to show people that. Really cool. And I got a free Bloody Mary with a cool guy named Al. That's awesome. Here's something I found on Terry's page I thought was pretty cool. I'll leave this up. I'll even make it big. This is the Big Daddy Roadshow. You can find my website, BigDaddyRoadshow.com. We'd appreciate any shares, and we'd appreciate any donations you can help me with this tour upcoming. It started in Brooklyn. Unofficially, it started at the infield of Pocono when I met lots of veterans. This is the Big Daddy Roadshow. Thanks for watching. 98 minutes in. You can only go 4 hours with this. We're not going to make it. We won't make 4 hours. Here's a picture from the infield of Pocono when I was invited by Tim's Towing. Do we like to have fun? Yeah, I would say we ran into a few people that like to have fun. They also sold these really good margarita mixed drinks. And Pocono puts on one heck of an infield show with concert after concert. People everywhere having a blast. Everybody's cool. If you've never been to Pocono, go check out the Tricky Triangle. I'm telling you, it's a good time. I always buy the bleacher seats. I want to see the action. The fastest straightaway in NASCAR. I think we're losing a race. Next year we're only going to have one. But Pocono Raceway, really cool people, a really cool track, Long Pond, Pennsylvania, and just cool people from all over the country in that infield. Man, did we have a good time that night. Thank you to Tim's Towing for the invite. Here's another cool quote. If you want light to come into your life, you have to stand where it's shining. There's some truth there. When I was out to see Tim's Towing, I ran into this car. It's crazy. Beautiful. That's what we talk about on my show. Cool cars, hot women, poker, cool things like that. We support our troops. We support the flag. We support our veterans. Let me just show you some more pictures of this 442 Oldsmobile. Look at the ass end on this thing. Are you kidding me? It might be for sale, by the way. Contact Tim's Towing in West Hazelton, PA, if you're interested. It's really pretty. Really cool interior. Very cool. And here she sits. By the way, that hood is it's actually a really nice paint job. That's the clouds in the sky. And here's a picture of a Stingray that was sitting on the other side. He works like a welding shop and stuff, so you'll see like a lot of fork trucks and stuff like that. But he's got some really cool old vessels over there. Shout out to Tim. Really cool. Last picture of Al. Look at him. Showing off his tattoo. Semper Fi, he said. Semper Fi. How about this? The midweek mashup started March 6th. You think I lost some weight? Where's my corncob pipe? Look at my beard. It's growing in. Anything to do with the flag and fun, I'm in. This is the infield of Pocono Raceway, 2019. This guy was a riot. And yeah, that's a power scootered icebox with beer in it. Brilliant. Brilliant. Here's another picture from the infield. My friend from Puerto Rico. Awesome guy. A lot of memories. Hope to make a lot more as I cross the country, God willing. And lastly, Troop 76. This was the group that my dad, who served in Korea, passed away in 1984. He's the reason why I support the troops and why I do what I do for the flag and why I work for the veterans and why I became an officer and president of the Hazelton Elks number 200. Here's a bunch of guys from 76, post 76, Hazelton area at the infield of Pocono. Like I said, we're going to finish with poker, but I just want to share, let people know that the show's more than just a talk show. Okay, back to poker. Now listen, when you're at the poker table, you might be wondering if you're the best poker player at the table. Most likely you're not. So the first step to recovery in this situation is to admitting you're a dumbass. If you're new to poker, sit there, pay attention, don't play every hand, do not play out of position, always focus on the action, watch the pros, keep an eye on them, listen, watch intently, and give it time, lots of time. As the years build up, you too will start to stack the chips up real high. I actually played so much poker I got bored of it, but I'm getting back into it. Can't wait. You'll have many eureka moments in poker where you'll have, aha, I get it now. Here's a beautiful picture from Oregon that one of our viewers sends us. Poker is an amazing game that you're going to need a lot of time and patience to learn. Here's a picture of me being stupid at the poker table. That little Frankenstein guy, that's my card holder. This is Mohegan's Sun in Plains Township, Pennsylvania. And I gotta get this back. My piercing, I gotta get that back. Oh, I can hear the roosters going. Let's hurry this up. The roosters are waking up in Pennsylvania, 4:09 a.m. And Julie wants me to be on her show in Australia in a couple hours. Yeah, okay. Do you hear the rooster? I like glass. I like light. Just sharing some random pictures. I get some of the coolest pictures sent to me too, by the way. Oh, what the hell's that guy with the hair again? That's not the picture I wanted to put up. I thought I got rid of that one. That's what I look like with hair and no beard. In case you wanted to know. People send me the coolest pictures, though. Here's a really cool one. My father used to raise championship Doberman pinchers. He had one that was an AKC champion, national champion, called Stormcrest Maradon Lady A Go-Go. Look it up. It's true. Me and my brother Pat used to train them. We used to hold them out of the back of a Chevy Celebrity hatchback. I think it was a Celebrity. And we used to run them down the beltway just to tone their muscles. You're looking at a very strange set of Dobermans. You got a red, probably got a blue, a black, and I don't know. Is that an albino? I've never seen one of those. I've had the blues, we've had the blacks, we've had the reds. And my favorite was Zoe, who died a couple years ago. Best dog I ever had. Not that Buddy and Bella and Jazzy's not cool, but Zoe was the poker playing Doberman pincher that used to be in my backroom card game. Picture of me being silly. Like I said, this show's all about poker. Las Vegas. Rounders, the movie. We'll finish with that shortly. Michael Mizrachi, one of my favorite players of all times. Definitely a champion. Definitely has skills. Hey, Michael, you're my friend. Call me. Give me some tips. I only need a few. I just need a couple of eureka moments, like in the forest over here in Oregon. God, if you're still with me on this one, you really do love poker. God bless you for watching. This show is not for everybody. Here's some famous people. Robert Chip Burner Turner. He's coming on the show again. He's been on the Big Daddy Roadshow podcast, and he's coming live, hopefully, if everything works out, when I cross the country. He'd also like to try and help raise money for my vets, and he's all ears. So hopefully I can work something out with Mr. Turner. Hey, look at that. Michael Mizrachi again, making money. Here's a picture of Terry King with some friends at a dinner party. A blast from the past. I won't even try and say those names because I don't want to botch them up, but I'll make it bigger. Johnny Chan. Look at Johnny Chan with the open shirt. That's got to be the 80s, right? Pretty cool. Vegas is so much fun. I miss Las Vegas. It's great to visit. Most of my friends live there, though. Let's get rid of this graphic. Let's put that up again one more time. Real Grinders, the lounge next to the Rio. Raymond, he runs the show. He'll teach you a few things about poker. Join his website. Let's wind down here. Feels like it's wind down time. Let's get real rapid fire with the pictures. We're getting there. A lot of these pictures are duplicates, so I think I got. Here's a really beautiful picture of Las Vegas. Here's a picture of Lenny Gibson, my secretary when I was an Elks president. The best secretary I think the Elks in Hazleton ever had. Also, past exalted ruler. Also, the man who inspired me with the American flag stars to help raise money for veterans. Thank you, Lenny. It's a really cool picture of poker chips. Here's that picture real big. You can hear me clicking. We're getting through the pictures pretty quick here. Here's one more time just for Chip. Just want to show that picture again big. We're winding down. I got one more video for you. If you're a poker fan, new to poker, you're definitely going to want to check out Rounders and Real Grinders. The links will be in the chat. One more time, Chip from the Dunes. Big thank you to my friend in Vegas, Terry King, for letting me use these pictures. Greatly appreciate it. She's got wonderful pictures. You got to go check them out. Stick around. We're close to it. We're close to the video of Rounders, and we'll say our good nights. And again, if you have any questions, just hit me up with a PM. Definitely hit up Real Grinders. Let's see. We covered some terminology. There's a ton more to cover. There's websites if you need help with links or anything. Remember, the bet with your head, not over it. Don't get stuck on the slot machines like I did on that Pawn Store slot machine with the Taj Mahal Jerry Yang trip, which, by the way, I got to play Jerry Yang heads up early into the morning for one of their group's champion, for the money, for the prize, for the trophy. And we had made a little deal that if he gave me a little extra cash, I'd kind of like play sloppy. True story. I just loved playing with Jerry. It was cool playing with a world champion. Shout out to Robert Shipburner Turner, all my other poker friends, Tom McAvoy, Oklahoma Johnny Hale. God, there's so many people I know that I just forgive me if I don't mention your name. All my friends I played with in Atlantic City, Turning Stone up in New York, Foxwoods, Mississippi. Shout out to you guys. Doyle Brunson, one of my all-time favorite poker players ever. And thank goodness I have an angel, because there is a beautiful picture of Terry who helped me out with this show. Boom. Thank you, Terry. This is the Big Daddy Roadshow. I am Big Daddy. My friends call me that, but my name is Tom. I'll be traveling the country, God willing, starting very soon with a friend of mine called Uncle Bruno, who's on my show. What's my show about? Everything. We talk about everything and anything. We try to meet with interesting people and talk about controversial subjects, simple subjects, fun subjects. We try to do improv comedy. Sometimes we're being silly. Some people don't get it. Sometimes it gets contentious. God, I wish I could play rock and roll music. Somebody get me a gig at a rock and roll station. that'll let me do live videos with playing music. So if it gets too crazy, I can just do a block of Janis Joplin, or Boston, or Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Bruno Mars, Pink, anything. If it's good music, I'll play it. Blues, rock and roll, old school, new school. This is the Big Daddy Road Show. Good luck trying to explain it to your friends. This is a special show on poker because it's just a game I dig. And one last thank you to Terry from Real Grinders. Thank you very much for sharing all these pictures. One more shout out to Teach. Very good poker instructor. Very good player. One more picture of my poker face. Very similar. One more picture of a duck, because I like ducks. Ducks rock. If you ever want to see something really cool, how something can lose its mind, watch two ducks arguing, fighting, flapping for flip-flopping around the water for dominance. Watch how they go crazy, and then how instantly they're serene. You can learn a lot from ducks. And again, if you're at a table at a poker game and you're new to the game and you hear somebody calling you a fish, that's not a good thing. Also, if you're a good poker player, you shouldn't be telling the fish they're fish. But anyway, I'm just giving you a heads up. Shout out to our armed services, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Thank you for your service. We'll never get tired of saying that. Shout out to my friends Pasquale from the IT Crew for inviting me to the Brooklyn block party. There's Big Pussy and other people from The Sopranos, William DeMeo. What a time. That was a bucket list thing to go back to where I was born. And to be able to do it with the cast of The Sopranos and all these other actors, and just people from the Bronx Tale, and just crazy. Pasquale, who's the guy in the middle. Thank you. Uncle Bruno, thanks for hooking me up with these guys. These guys rock. All the other shows, the Wise Guys shows, Julie's show in Australia, Dan Romano's show. I called into his show. Good luck, guys. It's crazy being independent running these shows, isn't it? Good luck to you. I'm not competing with anybody. I just do my own thing. We like hot rods and hot motorcycles. Here's a really cool picture. This is out of the local area, too. We might be running a car show near you, hopefully, to raise money for my vets. Let's see, one last poker pro friend of mine, political provocateur, golf enthusiast, and all-time money-winning online poker player, Dusty Schmidt. If you're a liberal, don't go to his page. You've been warned. Shout out to Chris Moneymaker. Shout out to Old Glory. Shout out to Raymond Davis. Real Grinders, thank you. So you want to learn poker, do you? I'm starting to lose steam. If I was at a poker game in Vegas, I'd be time to cash out soon. Here's a couple quick questions. Who are your favorite female poker pro players? Kathy Liebert comes to mind. Jen Harmon, Cindy Violette. Am I saying her last name right? God, there's so many. Annie Duke. I always loved watching Annie Duke play. God, she's got moxie. I don't even know if she's still playing. I haven't seen her in a while. Who were the most favorite poker pros you've ever played against? Let me know in the chat. And who is the most famous poker player you played overall? Phil Hellmuth, probably for me. I'd have to think, though. Doyle Brunson, shortly, very short. He was only at a small, like quickly out of table, off the table. Probably best for me. You could tell I was tired when I wrote that one. Shout out to Dusty Schmidt, poker pro and author. Check him out. He's got some pretty good books on the game. His nickname is Leather Ass. He's also a friend of mine on Facebook. Terry King, thank you for all the pictures that I used tonight. Awesome. And let's end this with Johnny F. and Chan. An old school picture. I have to get rid of a picture first. I think that's it. Well, here's a cool picture of the Stardust. Again, you can see all kinds of cool pictures if you go up to Real Grinders. I'll put the links. Here's a really cool picture of Doyle Brunson acting unenthused, or maybe he's really tired. I don't know. Chip Reese. Okay, the roosters are really starting to get nuts now. So I wish you many blessings. I hope you're ready. They're coming. Good luck. I hope the deck hits you in the face. I hope you nothing but great flops. Flop the nuts, people. This is Big Daddy. Still drinking coffee, and I'll sleep like a baby in a few minutes. We talk about everything on this show. Please pass the word. We don't just talk about poker, but I do love the game. I'm coming back to the game. I ran games, played games, traveled the country, built buildings with winnings, lost enough to make you cry, but not as much as these guys. But still, I lost. I won a lot more than I lost, though, I assure you. So to all of my other poker player friends that didn't, if you didn't, God bless you. Also, one last shout out to our troops. This is why we have zero tolerance for any bastard who dishonors our flag. This picture right here. Sorry, guys. God bless America. If you disagree, we'll have to politely just disagree. And that's cool with me. Let's see what I got to do to get rid of this. Where is that darn thing? And then we're going to show the last video from Rounders. If you haven't seen it, if you're new to poker, or if you just love the movie and you haven't seen it in a while, you're welcome. This one will probably get you wanting to see the movie again. I'm going to finish. Let me get that up on the screen. And we find it first. There it is. Okay, cool. So I'll get rid of that one. I'm going to get rid of that one. And we're going to finish up here. This is the Big Daddy Roadshow. You can visit me at BigDaddyRoadshow.com. That's BigDaddyRoadshow.com. Check out the Brooklyn trip, the block party, where I had a bucket list life experience, still pinching myself, blown out of my mind, hanging out with big deals, people in the business world. I love New York, but I've never been back to Brooklyn. It took me 50 years to get back to Brooklyn, and boy, did I get there in a good way. When you pull up and park your car and you see William DeMeo pulling by in an old 70s or 80s Cadillac convertible, you know you're dreaming. All right, let's go to video here. I'll let you end with this one. Thanks for watching. If you love poker, if you have any questions, one last plug. Go check them out. Real Grinders Poker. Get your patches. If you're playing in the World Poker Tour or World Series of Poker or just in a casino anywhere in the country, put this on your cap. It's a good group of people. It really is. Thanks to them for letting me use all these pictures. Like I said, we talk about everything on this show. Cars, motorcycles, hot girls, conversations, run the gamut. So we hope you'll pass the word on. And if you have any interesting people that you think I should interview, I'd love to hear about it. As you can see, I get lots of messages, so it might take me a while to get back to you. But thanks for watching, and here we go. We're going to end with one of my favorite movies, next to The Big Lebowski and The Blues Brothers and a couple others. Let's see if I can pull this off. We'll say our goodnights. Oop, Bella's falling asleep. Here we go. Let's cue up the movie. Go big screen. Bring it to you. Make me small. Bada boom, bada bing. Enjoy. Once again, this is the Big Daddy Roadshow. Just a little chat about Vegas and poker in a group called, how many more times am I going to say it? It's worth it, folks. Go check it out. Thanks, Terry. Enjoy this, guys. It's a great movie.
You must be kicking yourself for not walking out when you could. Bad judgment. But don't you worry, son. It will all be over soon.
Check.
No picture, I kept it.
I'm laying this down, Teddy. Top two pair. It's a monster hand. I'm gonna lay that down. Because you got 2-4, and I'm not gonna draw against a made hand.
Lies down a monster. Should have paid me off on that. The fuck did you lay that down?
Not hungry?
Oh, man.
Mr. Son of a Bitch. Let's play some cards.
The rule is this. You spot a man's tell. You don't say a fucking word. I finally spotted KGB's, and usually I'd have let him go on chewing those Oreos till he was dead broke. But I don't have that kind of time. I've only got till morning. Not even Teddy KGB's immune to getting a little rattled.
Enough is enough, Teddy. Finish the fucking kid off.
Hanging around. Kid's got alligator blood. Can't get rid of him.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm double the blind.
Okay. I call.
Searching.
Check.
$2,000.
All right, I'll call the $2,000. I'll gamble. Don't splash the pot.
You're on a roll, Mike. Go away. This one is not good for you. And in my club, I will splash the pot whenever the fuck I please.
Okay. I'm gonna check, Teddy.
That's right. Big daddy. That's the pot.
It's 4,400. All right, I'm gonna call you, or else I won't respect myself tomorrow morning.
Respect is all you have left in the morning. Last card coming.
Check.
It hurts, doesn't it? You can't believe what fell. All your dreams just hops down the fucking drain. Your fate is sitting right beside you. That ace could not have helped you. Ace, that's it. Or
You're right, Teddy. The ace didn't help me. I flopped the nut straight.
Motherfucker! You fool your nut! Motherfucker! That is it!
That's it. What the fuck you talking about? That's it. Take him down, Teddy.
Yeah. No more! No, not tonight! This son of bitch all night, he chick. He trapped me!
Well, you feeling satisfied now, Teddy? Because I can go on busting you up all night.
Yet. He beat me. Straight up. Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Wow. Poker's fun. Good game. It's a devil sometimes. And that's that. Now, I'll finish up with some tunes. They're free, so enjoy. This is the Big Daddy Roadshow. That was the red felt background. Did you see that? It's pretty cool. This is me again. This is starting to get frightening. And let me get to the tab. share. Thanks for watching. Go check out Real Grinders. Shit. It's worth it. If you like poker, you're going to really dig it. Thanks for watching. Let's get this big. And let's fade to black. Good night, everybody, and thanks for putting up with me. It's just a game I like, poker. If you have any questions, hit them up at Real Grinders. Later.